My name's Jervis Cheney. I'm a born and bred West Australian. Lived here all my life, but for some occasional times out of the state. Became sort of interested in my high school about potentially doing medicine, and got in, luckily to do medicine. Became a doctor and went down the pathway of doing paediatrics, which is obviously child health. And I've had an amazing career. I've been married to Sally for about 33 years, and we've got a great marriage. We have three lovely adult children. I come from a big extended family. I'm very lucky to have both parents alive, and my two brothers live in Perth and with their families. So I'm very lucky. I've got a lot of family support. I think my family would say I've probably done mostly work rather than a lot of fun until quite recently. I've kept fit for many years running, so we live near the beach, and I get to run down near the beach and have a swim and a bit of a coffee afterwards with friends, which is I've called my sanity saver, and spending time with family and friends, I guess. I was, I think, trying to get more fit again. So I was doing a lot of running at the time. And that was one of the things that made me first aware that I might have Parkinson's. I was running at the time and I got a sort of very odd tremor in my right thumb as I was running. And I was running thinking, that's very odd, I've never done that before. I've never noticed it before. And so that was the first alerting of it. Because I suppose I've got a medical background, when I was sort of assessing the symptoms I had, I was becoming increasingly aware that I probably did have Parkinson's disease. So unlike a lot of people who get diagnosed, it wasn't a shock to me when I walked out of the specialist room. A lot of mixed emotions over that time, I think. I probably, I wasn't delighted. No one's really delighted about getting a neurodegenerative disease. But I also very much looked at it in the context of my life. And, I've lived this really amazingly fortunate life. I've had sort of every blessing you could hope for. And I thought, well, this is just part of my life. So if I've got Parkinson's disease and then we've been confirmed with Parkinson's disease, it's a matter of looking at how do I make the most of it? How do I actually take this pretty awful diagnosis and make it into the most positive side of it? Sally, my wife, has been extraordinarily supportive, calm. She didn't get upset about it. We did have a very interesting drive home from the specialist. And I think we had hunters and collectors on the radio as we drove home and cranked the music up, and so it felt a bit surreal. Again, we've taken a very positive way. We've travelled a lot more. We've tried to make the most of what was already a really good life, but actually spending that time more valuably. You have to embrace the diagnosis. You have to actually say, I own this. This is me now. But actually, while embracing the diagnosis, you can fight the disease by taking proactive measures of your health. I think, if you can take the diagnosis and accept it, embrace it, but actually battle against the progress of it, I think that's a great combination. The other thing I have given advice is don't be afraid to tell people about the diagnosis. The first thing I heard with Parkinson's WA was actually when my specialist made the diagnosis. Soon afterwards, I was talking to a friend of mine who also had been diagnosed relatively recently with Parkinson's, and he had engaged in Parkinson's WA and was encouraging me to do so. We were talking about joining up and being members, and he said, your conditions for your life, Jev, you might as well join for life. My days have changed a lot. I've left my very busy, stressful job, and which was a job I loved. It gave me a lot of joy, but it was hard work. And I took a lot of time off, and then was very fortunate to go to work for a charitable foundation working with wonderful people. And then I do a lot of exercise. So I've really focused not just on running. I'm doing this boxing that's all the rage for Parkinson's, which is the PD Fighter that's run by Ray Fazio and set up by David Blacker, the neurologist who's been a great advocate for Parkinson's. I'm spending a lot more time with family and friends because I can. And I think I'm more aware of the environment and sort of appreciating the world and the world we live in, the good parts of it. Parkinson's disease is a growing problem. More and more people are having it, and it's not just because of population growth or aging. There's something else going on. So, it is a big problem. It affects many, many Australians and obviously worldwide. And it is, a very challenging disease for many people, especially as it progresses. There's a strong need for more treatment. So there is a strong need for Parkinson's services and Parkinson's research. And so donating for Parkinson's, I think, is a great cause. And Parkinson's WA is providing an extraordinary service for people across Western Australia. And, for a disease that can be extraordinarily challenging, I think it's a very worthy cause, and it's a great organisation because it is people, West Australian people helping West Australian people, which is, doesn't get much better.